See what happens.
And
We might have
actually, while we get that together, so just check this to make sure I don't have any of these quotes. Like any of these that I don't have, just give me.
I don't know what happened. You might have to put him on your
Yes, you can play with it for a little while. You have to like tweak it here and there. That's good, yeah. Because I could really talk like this as well. I mean, I could use my voice.
My whole mission? We'll do it that way for now.
Sure.
2. Let me just get this right time. You just go with that. We'll move it this way.
Can you guys hear me like this?
No. Now it's probably going to work out like that.
You won't go on tape either.
All right, let me, I wanted to stand up here so that everyone can see. I guess I'll just do it like this. Oh, this is fine, this is fine. This is cool. Let me start off, first of all, by saying thank you for having me here today. It's really a great thing to be here, and I'll tell you why for a few reasons. One is that, you know, anytime I'm called to be a part of a community situation, I definitely try to make it to that. So other community organizers who are in this room right now, who have events that they feel KRS-One's presence should be at, feel free to contact that man walking out the door right now. His name is Wesley Powell, and we can set up a time when we can come to anywhere. We will show up anywhere at any given time. I'm kind of happy to see a lot of the younger adults here as well. I was talking to my crew over here who wanted me to dedicate something to them. But let me start very quickly and get right to the point. I really want to open this up to a questions and answers as well. But let me just give you a few of the thoughts that I came here to give you, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to start off. You sort of have to keep up with me. So if you got pens or pads or tape recorders, you could film this. Make sure this tape is being made. I hope you guys can get a copy of it to, you know, look back on it and study later on. I'm not going to give you a lecture of do's and don'ts. I'm more or less going to give you more of a, as it was called in ancient times, a metuneta lecture, or a metaphysical lecture, or a spiritual lecture, and so on and so on. Let me start by saying that, first of all, I come here under 3 concepts that I think is very important for everyone to understand. It doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are to understand these concepts. The concepts are health, wealth, and awareness of self. These are the 3 major concepts that govern our lives every day. And when we come to understand these concepts of health, wealth, and awareness of self, then you breeze through life with no problem, no stress, no sorrow, nothing. I come here today because I'm living proof of what I'm telling you. This is not something that I studied. This is why I'm saying to you that this is not a lecture of do's and don'ts or a dogmatic lecture. This is more or less a conversation of experience. And over my little time on this planet, I'm only 32 years old, but my little time on this planet, I've accumulated a few concepts that are called controversial only because people have a hard time accepting certain realities in life. Let me just get right to the point. Health, wealth, and awareness of self. What does this mean? I hope you take these words and walk out of here and either better yourself or continue bettering yourself as we go on. Health. What does health mean? Health or heal? Health. What does health mean? For us, there are various levels of health. Of course, one level of health, you know, is in your diet. The surface level of health has to do with how you eat, exercise, drink water, this kind of thing. Another level of your health has to do with breathing exercises, which go on or goes on to exercises dealing with the mind. People always talk about health, but they only equate it with the body. They don't equate it with the mind. And one of the things we got to understand is that there is no such thing as good health unless you have a good consciousness. Consciousness is the beginning of good health. Consciousness. I'm going to breeze over some concepts, and I'm going to breeze over them because they're being recorded, and I hope we can all look back on this later and really get into what's being said. Consciousness. Health and consciousness. Rule number one. You can eat all the pork in the world. You can scarf down candy after candy after candy. You can drink all the soda you want, alcohol, beer, the whole 9 yards. If your consciousness is pure, you will live like a vegetarian. You can be a vegetarian, eating all the right foods, drinking water every day, exercising. If your mind is not in order, none of this will benefit your body. The object of health is to first get your mind in order. It is the mind that controls all aspects of the body. Disease is first a mental thing, then it becomes a physical thing. Disease is first hatred, which turns into cancers and this and that. Disease is first jealousy, envy, deceit. These things come to you first. False information is a disease of the mind. And when the mind is diseased, then it offers this information to the body. And then the body, being the physical manifestation of the mind, gives you exactly what you would put into your own head. Rule number one in health. A balanced mentality is the key to healthy living. Don't be, as Jesus Christ would say, the hypocrites, and only concentrate on what you're putting in your mouth. The things you put in your mouth are not as important as what comes out of your mouth. When it comes to true health, it's really about what comes out of your mouth before what goes into your mouth. Yes, food is a major importance to the body. It is a nurturing factor. But there is no greater power than your conscious perception of yourself. You can eat whatever you want. If the conscious perception of yourself is clear and sure, your body will turn pork to fish. It will turn candy to fruit. This is why children are indestructible. Children can eat dirt. Children have eaten dirt. Children can eat all the junk food they want. You know, when you're young, you eat all kind of craziness. And then you get to a certain age, and then it begins to bother you. It's not what you're eating. It's what you're thinking while you're eating. Children eat with no regard for what they're eating because they trust in the fact that they are supposed to live. When we get older, we begin to doubt the fact that we are supposed to live. Things are told to us, don't do this or you're going to die. Do this and you'll live. And as an adult, we take that into our conscious perception and begin to make rules. So the same Twinkies you ate when you were younger now turn into poison when you're older. Children don't have this problem. Children are just living from day to day. Hey, give me the Twinkies, give me the steak, give me the fish, give me a vegetable, give me whatever. It doesn't matter because their conscious perception of themselves are not tainted with all kinds of opinions on do's and don'ts and whys and how's and all of that. It's that that diseases the mind first, not your food. Let's move over to wealth. Health, then wealth. What does it mean to be wealthy? Many people think that wealth has to do with money. Wealth has to do with money only. Money is a small part of being wealthy. Wealth, again, comes back to your conscious perception of yourself. There are some people who have millions of dollars and they are poor in their thinking, so they lose everything, or the millions still does not bring them happiness. Some people have nothing and are happy about themselves, and they go on to live very productive lives, even without money. My mother was one of these people who had very little in her life, but she was happy. She was content with a card game on Friday. She was happy. She looked at life as, well, here I am. It's a short time I got. Let me enjoy it. These are the sciences of true wealth. Let's go deeper. Money. Everybody says, I want money. Give me money. I want all the money I could possibly get. But no one has anything to sell. If I could say one thing to the youth of this audience, one thing, it would be this. If you want money in life, get a skill, have a trade, have something to sell. It is the simplest concept in the world and the hardest thing for people to understand. I want money. Fine, ain't nothing wrong with that. What are you selling? Most people say, I want money. And then somebody says, well, what do you got? Nothing. What can you do? Nothing. Well, have you been trained? Are you educated? Well, no. Well, how do you expect to get money? The one that gets money is the one who has something to sell. In my case, I sell rap music to the public. This is a skill. Years ago, the hip-hop community was faced with critique, such as, it's only going to last another year and it's going to be over. Those that can remember 1978, those that can remember 1979 when Rapper's Delight came out, and all the Sugar Hill records came out, and everybody says, oh, just another 5 more years, it'll be all over. Some rappers believed that. Some of them said, yeah, I know what we doing ain't really nothing. They're not here with us today. Some of us, like me, said, nah, I don't think so. Matter of fact, you know what I think? I think that the only way for rap music to really survive past 5 years is if I make it survive past 5 years. The point here is this. Be careful of the opinions that others have of you. Be careful of the opinions that others have of you. The only time you should accept an opinion from someone else is when you have a firm opinion of who you are already. When you have a firm opinion, I am this. For now, this is who I am. I am comfortable with who I am right this second. Then somebody else could come along and say, you know, I think you're the greatest thing that ever. Thank you. You know, I think you're so terrible. Thank you. But who are you to yourself? These are the keys of wealth. Money will come to you. Ask and it shall be given. You're looking at a person. My name is Chris Parker. Somewhere in my slave history, my master was named Parker. And so, my name is Chris Parker. I come from off the streets of New York City. And not the streets you might think, just the streets hanging on the corner. No, I mean the actual street. For about 4 to 5 years, I lived on the streets in Manhattan as a homeless man, eating out of garbage cans. Believe that. You probably can't even think of this now. You probably can't even think of it. The television has told you that I'm KRS-One. Throw your hands in the air. But the lesson today is, who was I before that? Before all of that, who was I and where was I? And if you answer this question correctly, you will see that you and I were in the same position. The only difference is that my mother was deep into metaphysical philosophies. And she taught me from a very young age how to use my mind. And she taught me so well how to use the mind. Use it. It's not so much about just use your mind, you know how to read, know how to write. These are very important tools. But understand this concept about the mind. The mind is different from the brain. The mind and the brain are two different things. The brain is in your head, but the mind is all over the universe. You are in your mind is not in you. When you come to understand this simple fact that what you call self or you, or your awareness of yourself, what you are calling me, is really not even in the body. Brain surgeons, neurologists, they don't know where the mind is. I speak at some of the largest medical universities in the world, have been for like 7 or 8 years now. I speak to neurologists all the time. It's a known fact in neurology, science of brain and how to work it and so on, the brain, that even today, 1997, those that study the brain, they don't know what a mind is. They can dissect the brain, they can poke it, make your finger go up, they can hit it and make you have a memory, but don't nobody know where the mind is. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. The mind. When you understand this about your mind, you will come to understand that there are three aspects of your mind: conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The conscious mind is what we're dealing with right here. Speech, analytical behavior, I'm talking. You are aware that I'm talking. You are aware that you're listening. I'm aware that I'm talking. Awareness. This is conscious mind. You are awake. You are conscious. When you get knocked out, they say you are unconscious. When you are awake and aware of your surroundings, you are conscious. Subconscious. Subconscious mind is that realm of the mind that is influenced by the conscious mind. Meaning, someone says, you ain't worth the salt in your food. The conscious mind heard it. If the conscious mind says, I agree, it sends it to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind makes it a reality in your life. It's the subconscious mind that brings to you everything you have, good or bad. The subconscious mind doesn't care about good or bad, good or evil, up, down, what's helping you, what's not helping you. All of that is irrelevant. What it is what is the picture you have in your mind of yourself? What is the picture in your mind of your environment? This goes into the subconscious. And when it goes into the subconscious puts it into your environment. Watch what you think. Control your thinking. When you begin to control your thinking, you'll begin to control your actions, and you'll begin to control your life. When you control your life, then money is the least of everything. But controlling your life takes a lot of responsibility, because it's hard to control your life. Why is it hard? Because we have things like fear. We have things like attachment. We have these things that are constantly telling us, no, don't do that. No, don't go there. No, don't say that. No, don't be this. Or the other side to it is, you can't do this. You can't be that. You can't go here. The subconscious mind is your genie, so to speak. Matter of fact, this is where the concepts of genies come from. The subconscious mind is the lamp that you have to rub in order for any of your dreams to come true. Any of them. Don't think about yourself being trapped or limited just because you live in the so-called ghetto. That's supposed to stagnate you. No. Everybody has a genie in their mind that can bring to them exactly what they see themselves attaining. If you don't see yourself where you want to be, you'll never be there. You have to first sit down and see it. I want to be an electrician. Then see yourself doing electronics. As a matter of fact, go buy yourself an outlet. Go buy yourself a light switch. Affirm in your mind, this is what I am. Most people get caught up in college, and they wait until the university gives you a degree, and then they say, okay, now I'm this. Incorrect thinking. When you decide to be a doctor, you are a doctor. Now, are you a good doctor? Well, maybe not. but you are a doctor. In the word doctor, you are that. You are not a doctor when you get your medical degree. You are a doctor from the second you say, I'm a doctor. Now act like a doctor, think like a doctor, move like a doctor, hang out with doctors, have a doctor's conversation. And then nobody in the world will tell you that you're not a doctor. There are books all around in the library, right next to us, at your school. The purpose of a book is always to free you. This is why the government is not at fault for the way we are treated in society. We look and we say, it's the white man. You're giving too much credit to the white man. The only oppressor is the mind that accepts oppression. If your mind accepts oppression, then it is you that is your oppressor. When you accept that somebody else can hold you back, you're held back. Even if somebody walks up to you and says, I refuse to let you go here, if you say, okay, who's at fault? There is knowledge all around you. Seek it, find it, become one with it. When you have this understanding, I want to be a chef, you don't have to go to culinary school. You should, only to play the political game of the culinary chef job market. But are you a chef? Yes. For many years, my mother was the chef, and she taught me to be one. She said, learn to cook for yourself. I thought my mother was bugging out. Why I gotta wash the dishes? Why I gotta take out the garbage? Why I gotta mop the floor? Why I gotta do all this stuff? And my mother said, learn how to do it. Be self-sufficient. Learn it. I don't care what you're going through right now in your mind. You will sit down and wash these dishes. Later on in life, I realized I got an apartment. I got an apartment. Mom's ain't nowhere to be found. I got a sink full of dishes. Suddenly, that knowledge became the most important thing in my life. At 8 o'clock at night after you ate spaghetti and meatballs. If you don't wash the dishes correctly, you will eat germs. If you don't know how to clean your house,